I'm going to tell you something that will save your life. There are 7 types of promiscuous women so toxic, so psychologically damaged, so guaranteed to destroy everything you've built that you'd be better off dying single than committing to any of them. And the worst part? They're everywhere. They're on dating apps, they're at bars, they're in your social circle, and they're all hiding their true nature until you're too invested to walk away easily. Pay attention to these 7 types, learn to identify them fast, and when you spot them, run, because no amount of physical attraction, no level of temporary companionship is worth what these women will cost you. Your peace, your resources, your sanity, your future, all gone if you make the mistake of committing to the wrong type. Type 1. The born-again virgin. She spent her 20s sleeping with everyone. 20, 30, maybe 50 different men. She gave herself away for free to guys who didn't know her last name. Bad boys, players, men who treated her like the temporary entertainment she was. Now she's 34, 36, maybe 38. Suddenly she's found God, found therapy, found herself. She's rebranded as traditional, conservative, relationship-focused. She talks about wanting a good man who respects her. She dresses modestly. She acts like her past is completely irrelevant to who she is today. Here's why she's poison. The born-again virgin hasn't actually changed. She's repositioned. Her options dried up, so she's performing a new role to attract the stable men she used to ignore. The psychological damage from years of promiscuity is still there. The inability to pair bond, the comparison disease, the emotional numbing, none of that goes away just because she decided to rebrand herself. If you commit to her, you're getting the depleted version of a woman who gave her best years, her enthusiasm, her genuine desire to men who did nothing to earn it. And she'll resent you for being the man she had to settle for when the men she actually wanted wouldn't commit to her. Die single before you become her backup plan disguised as her redemption story. Type 2. The career woman who suddenly wants kids. She focused on her career for 15 years. Relationships were distractions. Family was something she'd get to later. She climbed the corporate ladder, collected degrees, built a resume while her fertility window was closing and her dating market value was dropping. Now she's approaching 40 and biology is screaming at her. Suddenly she wants kids immediately. She wants a husband yesterday. She's on every dating app with bios about being ready for something serious, about not wanting to waste time, about knowing what she wants. Here's the trap. You're not a partner to her, you're a sperm donor with a paycheck. She doesn't actually desire you as a man, she desires what you can provide. Genetic material and financial stability for the family she should have started a decade ago but was too busy for. If you commit to her, you'll spend your life funding her timeline, raising kids on her terms, and watching her treat you like a utility instead of a husband. The moment she has the kids, your value to her drops to 0, except for the resources you provide. And when she divorces you, because women initiate 70% of divorces, she'll take the kids you helped create and the money you worked for, leaving you with visitation rights and child support payments. Die single before you become her retirement plan disguised as a relationship.
Type 3. The serial monogamist. She's never been single for more than a month or two since she was 16. Every relationship lasts 6 months to 2 years, then she's immediately in another one. She has a lineup of exes that looks like a roster, and she's always just got out of something serious when you meet her. On the surface, she seems better than the obviously promiscuous women. At least she does relationships, right? Wrong. The serial monogamist is just as damaged, she's just better at hiding it. Every relationship she's had has been practice for leaving. She bonds, extracts what she needs, then moves to the next man when the novelty wears off or something better appears. She's a branch swinger who never lets go of one branch until she has a secure grip on the next. If you commit to her, you're just the current branch. She's already looking for the next one. The moment your value dips, the moment she meets someone who seems like an upgrade, she's gone. And she'll justify it by saying she grew apart from you or the relationship ran its course. You're not building a life with her. You're occupying a space in her rotation until she finds the next man. Die single before you become another X in her collection. Type 4. The party girl who never grew up. She's 35 but still living like she's 22, clubbing every weekend, festival photos all over her social media, friend groups that revolve around drinking and partying, zero interest in building anything real because she's still chasing the validation and excitement of her 20s. She'll tell you she's just fun-loving, spontaneous, knows how to enjoy life. What she actually is, psychologically stuck in a phase she should have grown out of a decade ago, unable to transition into adult responsibilities because her identity is completely tied to being desired and validated through party culture. If you commit to her, you're committing to funding a lifestyle that has no future. She won't suddenly become domestic. She won't prioritize building a family. She'll drag you to clubs, expect you to maintain her party lifestyle financially, and resent any suggestion that maybe it's time to grow up. And when her looks finally fade completely and the party scene fully rejects her, she won't transform into a good partner. She'll become bitter, depressed, and blame you for the emptiness she feels because she wasted her life chasing temporary validation.
Type 5. The alpha widow. She had one relationship with a man who was significantly higher value than anyone else she's dated. Maybe he was rich, maybe he was exceptionally attractive, maybe he had status or power that made her feel like she won the lottery. Then he left her, or she sabotaged it, and she's been chasing that feeling ever since. The alpha widow is psychologically broken in a specific way. Every man she meets gets compared to the one who got away. You'll never measure up because in her mind, that man was perfect. She's rewritten the relationship in her memory, erasing all the bad parts and creating a fantasy standard no real human can meet. If you commit to her, you're committing to being a permanent disappointment. No matter what you do, you'll never be him. She'll compare your income to his, your looks to his, your sexual performance to his. Everything about you will be measured against a ghost you can't compete with. She'll drop comments about him. She'll still have his photos somewhere. She might even still be in contact, convincing herself they're just friends, while emotionally she's still attached to him. You're the placeholder she settled for while pining for a man who's never coming back. Type 6. The feminist who hates men. She posts about the patriarchy. She talks about toxic masculinity. She views every interaction through the lens of oppression and power dynamics. She's been taught that men are the enemy, that marriage is slavery, that traditional gender roles are oppression. But somehow she still wants a relationship because deep down, biology doesn't care about ideology. Here's the nightmare. She wants the benefits of a relationship with a man while maintaining her ideological position that men are fundamentally bad. This creates constant cognitive dissonance that she resolves by making you the exception that proves her rule, or by holding you to impossible standards to prove you're not like other men. If you commit to her, you'll spend every day walking on eggshells. Everything you say or do gets filtered through her feminist lens. Traditional masculinity, toxic. Wanting to lead, controlling. Expecting any traditional female contributions, sexism.
but somehow you're still supposed to pay for dates, provide resources, and fulfill masculine roles when it benefits her. You can't win. She's trapped in an ideology that fundamentally views you as the enemy, while also needing you for the relationship and resources she desires. The contradiction will poison everything. Die single before you become the punching bag for her unresolved gender ideology issues. Type 7. The single mother looking for a replacement. She has kids from one or more previous relationships. The fathers are absent, uninvolved, or toxic according to her narrative. She's looking for a good man to step up and help her raise children that aren't yours, while offering you none of the benefits of actual fatherhood. This is the most obvious trap, yet men fall for it constantly. Let me be clear, you'll never be those kids' real father. You'll be the man who pays the bills while she maintains decision-making power and the biological fathers maintain emotional significance. You get all the responsibility with none of the authority or respect. If you commit to her, you're funding another man's genetic legacy. Your resources go to raising kids who will likely never see you as their real dad. And when she divorces you, which statistically is even more likely with second marriages, you might still be on the hook financially for children that aren't even your biological children. Plus, ask yourself why the previous relationships failed. She'll blame the fathers. She'll call them deadbeats or abusers. But if one man is the problem, he's the problem. If multiple men are the problem, she's the problem. And you'll be next in line to be called the villain when this relationship fails too.
If you want the complete framework that shows you exactly which women are already beyond repair and the specific traits that identify the rare ones actually worth building with, everything is in the description below. This is the difference between wasting your best years on the wrong woman and building the family you actually want. Why these types are everywhere. These 7 types aren't rare exceptions. They're the majority of single women over 30 in the current dating market. The combination of casual sex culture, delayed marriage, feminist ideology, and inflated standards has created an entire generation of women who fit into one or more of these categories. The born-again virgins who wasted their peak years, the career women who prioritized everything except family until biology forced their hand, the serial monogamists who never learned to commit, the party girls who never grew up, the alpha widows chasing ghosts, the feminists who hate the men they need, the single mothers looking for replacement fathers. This is what the modern dating market offers men, and society expects you to choose one, commit, and pretend you're getting a good deal. What they all have in common. Every one of these 7 types shares the same core characteristics: damaged pair bonding from promiscuity or relationship cycling, unrealistic expectations based on inflated self-worth, inability to appreciate a good man because their psychology is broken, resentment toward men for not meeting fantasy standards, and a fundamental inability to build the stable, loyal partnerships that previous generations of women offered. They're all looking for men to fix problems they created, to fund lifestyles they can't afford, to validate choices that led nowhere, to be the solution to consequences they refuse to accept responsibility for. Let me paint the picture of what happens if you ignore this warning and commit to one of these 7 types anyway. Financially, you'll spend tens of thousands on dating, rings, weddings, housing, lifestyle maintenance. Then when it fails, you'll lose half of everything in divorce, plus ongoing payments. Your wealth gets transferred from you to her as punishment for trying to build something she was never capable of maintaining. Emotionally, you'll spend years managing her baggage, her damage, her unrealistic expectations while receiving minimal support when you need it. You'll become her therapist, her emotional punching bag, her validation dispenser, while your own needs go completely unmet.
Psychologically, you'll question yourself constantly. You'll wonder why you're not enough. You'll try harder and harder to meet standards that were designed to be unmet. You'll lose your sense of self, trying to become whoever she claims she wants, while she keeps moving the goalposts. Physically, you'll age faster from the stress, the constant conflict, the dead bedroom, the resentment, the walking on eggshells. All of it takes a toll on your health that you won't fully realize until the damage is done. And at the end of it, when she divorces you because she's bored or found someone she thinks is better, or just decided she's not happy, you'll look back at the years you wasted and the resources you spent and realize you would have been infinitely better off staying single. Being single is not the threat they claim. Society, especially women, will shame you for staying single. They'll call you commitment phobic, immature, selfish, or broken. They'll tell you that you'll end up alone and miserable if you don't settle down. This is manipulation designed to get you to accept one of these 7 toxic types despite knowing better. Because if men collectively refuse to commit to damaged women, the entire system collapses. But here's the truth they don't want you to understand. Being single is peaceful. You control your time, your money, your space, your life. You can build wealth instead of funding someone else's lifestyle. You can pursue purpose instead of managing someone else's emotions. You can maintain your standards instead of compromising them out of fear of being alone. Being single is only miserable if you believe the lie that you need a relationship to be complete. Once you realize that the wrong relationship is infinitely worse than being alone, staying single becomes the obvious, intelligent choice when the available options are these 7 types. When the rare exception appears. I'm not saying all women fit these 7 types. There are exceptions. Women who didn't waste their 20s, who have reasonable expectations, who bring genuine value, who aren't psychologically damaged beyond repair. But they're rare, extremely rare, and you need a system to identify them, vet them properly over time, and secure them without getting played by women performing temporarily to lock you down. That's what separates men who end up in successful relationships from men who end up destroyed. The successful ones know to spot the 7 toxic types immediately and walk away without hesitation. They know to identify the rare quality women, and they know to vet properly instead of rushing into commitment.
Here's what you need to understand. Every day you spend without a clear system for vetting women is a day closer to making a mistake that will cost you everything: your resources, your freedom, your future family. And most men make this mistake because they're operating blind, hoping they can just feel when a woman is right. You can't. Your emotions will lie to you. Your loneliness will compromise your judgment, and her performance will convince you she's different until the ring is on and the papers are signed. That's why I created the complete framework based on what leading relationship psychologists and evolutionary behavioral specialists have documented about female sexual market value dynamics, pair bonding capacity, and the exact strategies that separate men who build successful families from men who end up destroyed. This framework does 3 things. First, it shows you how to identify and avoid the women who will ruin your life, including these 7 toxic types and the subtle variations they use to hide their damage. Second, it reveals the specific traits and behavioral patterns of women who are actually worth committing to, the rare ones whose past aligns with their present, who see you as the prize, who will build with you instead of destroying you. And third, it gives you the exact approach to attract, secure, and maintain these high-value women, so you're not just identifying them, but actually winning them and keeping them loyal long-term.
The framework covers the vetting questions that force truth instead of rehearsed answers, the timeline tests that expose real intentions, the behavioral markers that predict loyalty, and the masculine strategies that make quality women pursue you instead of you chasing them. Everything is in the description below. This is the most important decision you'll ever make. Don't make it blind. Check the description now and get the complete system before you commit to the wrong person or lose the right one because you didn't know how to secure her. Die single before you die inside. The title of this video isn't an exaggeration, it's the truth. Dying single is better than living dead inside a relationship with one of these 7 types of toxic women. Your peace matters more than social approval. Your resources matter more than funding someone else's bad decisions. Your future matters more than settling for damaged women because you're afraid of being alone. Learn these 7 types, spot them fast, walk away without hesitation, and never, ever convince yourself that you can fix them or that you'll be the exception. You won't. The damage is permanent. Now I want to hear from you. Have you encountered any of these 7 types? Which one almost trapped you? Drop the type number in the comments or write "avoided all" if you successfully stayed away from all 7. And subscribe because I'm going to keep showing you exactly which women to avoid and how to protect yourself from making life-destroying mistakes. Remember, die single, but never date these 7 types of promiscuous women.